What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, JoJo? How you doing, brother?
Can't call it, man. Cannot call it, man.
Nah, I feel you.
Can't.
Man, I came home. It's funny because I come home. I'm finding myself lately. I come home and I just go to sleep. Like,
That
I'll take a shower.
that's cause you old, man.
No, 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 no. I mean,
Okay.
yes, that is true. But it's also, I feel like it's me managing my stress levels. Like, you know, um, work, and I would never complain, and I'm grateful. And shout out and prayers up for all federal workers that have to deal with this administration and the things that they are going through
Mhm.
and having to deal with. So I would never complain because I don't have to go through any of those things that they have to deal with. Um, Especially the people that was talking to me about traffic and dealing with traffic. You know what I'm saying? They have to deal with that all over again. But yeah, but it's just about me managing my stress levels, bro. That's all it is, man. Think I'm getting better at it, but it's still tough.
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I value my sleep a lot now, man. A lot more now than before. Um,
Mhm.
definitely enjoy my sleep, man. Definitely, man.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
So what you got going, man? What's up, man? How was your week, man? I know you said you've been sleeping.
No, I just work. I'm learning a lot about myself, man. Um, um, I'm learning that in leadership and different things, there's really no days off. You can't afford to have no days off in leadership, and that's the crazy part about it to me. Because I went to work one day and I wasn't my normal upbeat, cheery self
Hmm.
because of the different things that I'm dealing with and going through. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But I came to work one day. Hold on. What was this? This one I realized it. I came into work one day. We was off. I took off and I went to work because I had to go get something. And I said something to one of my coworkers. She said, "That's what I've been missing all day." And I was like, wow. She's like, I've been missing that all day. Like, I got somebody to make her laugh or, that certain thing. I don't understand why she, like, I am the one that provides that in the building. But I realized, like, even when we go back to our previous conversation of how the pastor that I know, and it's funny because she called me earlier this week, and I was like, you have to show people the God inside of you. You have to
Yeah.
show people that you represent it. You know what I'm saying? And if God is good in your life, and it's not to say you can't have bad days or stressful days or different things like that. It's just to say you have to be really mindful of how you present yourself when you're in front of people saying that you are a believer in Christ. So
Mm.
those are one of the things that I'm learning, and I'm trying my best to uphold that. But the other side of me that's still working on salvation.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah, the other side of me that's working on it, man, is kind of tough, bro.
Definitely, I
It's
can
tough.
definitely understand that. Well, I mean,
I be wanting to tell people off so bad. I mean, it's funny because I used to do it because I used to think that um honesty and being direct with people was like the best way of handling things, right?
Mhm.
I used to think that um that's how you supposed to like not play around with certain people because there's a lot of people that want you to enable them. There's a lot of
Mhm.
people that want to give you excuses and the woe is me. And I'd be the type of person that ripped the band-aid off, you know what I'm saying? And I realized like my principal would come to me, she said, it's not that you saying anything wrong, this is how you saying it,
Mhm.
how you present it. And I started thinking about that. And from that moment on, I kept trying to work on me. I tried to like elevate me, how I'm speaking to people, trying to use that compassion. So they say honesty without compassion is cruelty. That's what I believe. And so I'm trying to work on that. But then the other part of it, like you said, is just it's the struggle in it. Like
Mhm.
like playing around with people, and that's my thing. I have a hard time playing with people. And that's just
Mhm.
what I am.
Yeah, remember we talked about this on the last podcast, man. Oh well, before we get into it, I want to tell everybody thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to Finding Orders podcast. We are streaming on live. This is an interactive podcast. We're streaming on Facebook at Finding Orders podcast on Facebook. We are streaming live on YouTube at Finding Orders podcast, and we are also streaming live on our Finding Orders page on actual Facebook. So if you don't follow us on that page, go ahead and follow us too as well. And then I'm also sharing it on my personal page, so you can always get up-to-date information about it. I'm not streaming today on TikTok. Couldn't get it set up enough time to get us scheduled for that. So if you haven't followed us on TikTok, follow us on TikTok at our Finding Orders podcast page on TikTok. We have to get a lot of followers and views on there in order for us to be able to go live. I believe they changed it. Before you can just hop on there and go live, but now you need certain amount of followers. But if you're tuning in, take a seat, get your pen and paper ready. We are talking about today's topic is it still takes a village, and that is the topic that we're talking about today in regards to just every aspect of life, whether it's Christian based, whether it's community based. We are talking about that. I'm not going to tell the ushers to lock the doors. This is free. This is free information.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, I'm just being honest. I'm not telling nobody to lock the door. I'm not forcing you to stay here. This podcast is not for everybody, but it's for somebody. So if you feel like this is something that you can apply to your life as we learn and minister amongst each other and try to grow with each other, then please take a seat. It's a free will. I don't need your donations to keep you in here. We don't need no $40,000. So please, if you're here, sit, get comfortable, and please chime in the comment sections. Chime in if you have a question. Chime in. Caleb, what's up, brother? How you doing today? We do interact with you. It's a live interaction podcast, so we do stream it live, so we are able to interact with you guys. But today we're talking about it still takes a village. And Aaron, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this one. What made you come up with this topic? Well, like what was the message behind this topic today?
So I think part of this came from just me watching life, right? I'm a very observant person, and I see things from like different perspectives and viewpoints, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things is so much of the misinformation that is in the world today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that you even said about locking the doors because it takes a village for that, right? Mm-hmm. If anybody don't know, they seen the clip about Marvin Sapp, Pastor Marvin Sapp, earlier this week, going viral. And him instructing the ushers and things like that to closing the doors, and so that he can collect the offering. And he was basically saying that he was holding people hostage, in order to get the money. But again, it's things like that. That if you have people like, so this scripture right here is where I was like just aiming from. This is Proverbs chapter 12, verses 15. I didn't get a chance to type it all in, but this is Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15. It says, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise." Right? And there's another one. I'm gonna just pull it up real quick. Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 20. It says, "Get all the advice and instructions you can, so you will be wise with the rest of your life." And that was from the this one is from the NLT version. I usually try to get the New King James version, but those are the NLT versions, I believe it is. No, the first one is the New King James version. And the reason why I wanted to come from those two things, and the reason why I feel like it's not a coincidence that both of them is in there like that, it's like you have to get wise counsel, you have to get advice, you have to seek instructions, because it wasn't until after he was criticized and scrutinized, right, when he turned around and issued a statement, because now you can see the folly of your ways, right? And what they used to tell you is that it's harder for you to take words back after they come out of your mouth, so you're always supposed to be careful what you say to people before you say it, And like I said, those are the things that I was learning trying to become just a better leader in myself, right? And trying to make sure that I'm positioning myself to make sure that I'm making good decisions, not only just for me, but my community, you know? So when you walking around and you're demanding people as if you can, like you are God, or you can tell people what they're supposed to do with their money. It's crazy when all of it really is just voluntarily. God said he wants somebody to come to him freely and willingly. You know what I'm saying? With a cheerful spirit. You know what I'm saying? He wants you to give willingly, you know? So when you sit up there and you demanding people to give you money, you know, it's heartbreaking. You know, it's, to me as a believer, to watch something like that. The misguidedness in it, you know, it's just really hard and it's really weird. But that wasn't really, that was like the icing on the cake, really, you know. It's really, even when it comes to dating, right? And we addressed these things before when you talk about the men dating on the internet, women, you know, I honestly believe in my hardest of hearts that men should never address women. I honestly believe that. I don't believe men should be undressing women and talking down to them. Mainly because I feel like there's other women that supposed to be doing it. So say for instance, if I'm a pastor in the church, right? And I have an issue with one of the women in my church, I'm not going to walk over to you. I know I'm the pastor, I'm not the leader, I'm the one in charge. Well, why not like my wife? But that's the reason why I feel like a strong woman that also understands your work and your calling needs to be walking with you, so that things can get handled properly. Because why would I, as a leader and as a man, go and address that situation when there's other women that can walk up to them and address that? Because then that protects you from sexual harassment, all these other different claims and stuff like that. Like, why would I like even meet or counsel people individually, like one-on-one, like that, in those type of intimate settings? Because those type of things, that's how accusations and things it comes about, right? So that's also, you use wisdom, you know. And then it's like, you know, when you lack resources, when you like for instance, my daughter's about to go to prom, right? It's just me. I posted some things on Facebook about the looks and stuff like that I'm getting. I post things about the experience that I'm having just going with her prom shopping and getting little things. And it just made me sit back and think about it. It was like, you know, we still need a village. I don't care what the media, I don't care what this world is pushing. I don't care how they trying to sell it to you. Even Julio Fulio posted something online. And I don't even know this. I just know him by name. But for the fact that I see him, he said, because this is what brothers is supposed to do. We're supposed to hold each other accountable. One of the things he's saying, like, when I'm wrong, correct me. But you don't hear people say that, like, yo, if I'm wrong, I need you to correct me. If I step out of line, I need you in place. There's a time and a place for everything. I would never, you know, like me and you out and you act unseemingly. If it's up at that time, it's up. You know what I'm saying? That's what we got to do. Make sure we get out of there safe or whatever. But you know, at the end of the day, when it's just you and me and we alone, then it's time to pull you up and say, hey, bro, you probably was wrong about that, you know, because you my brother. And if I love you, I'm not going to see you crash out. If I love you, which is funny because I just had this conversation with my daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fruit of the spirit is in the book of Galatians, right? And that's one of the things that I try to tell her about my standard, right? I don't even know if she knew that, right? That my standard comes from the fruit of the spirit. R-I-T. Right. So the fruit of the spirit in the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 22 says, but the fruit of the spirit is love, peace. Love, joy, peace, long suffering, kindness, goodness, and faithfulness. So what I usually tell people, my standard of living is love, peace, joy, and happiness, right? 23 is self-control and gentleness. So mine, I try to make it like, you know, like it's still based off in those standards: love, peace, joy, happiness, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how I mark the way that I be around people. But I also told her like the things of the things of the flesh that's also in the book of Galatians, right? That God doesn't like. And I'm like, you know, everybody in the world made it seem like crashing out is like the best thing in the world now. I say it's funny how Satan and the world and these little tricks that he keep trying to play repackage things to make it seem like sin is good, because all of it is still wrong. All of it is still not things that you're supposed to do. Crashing out is definitely not one of those things that is smiled upon. It might give you earthly or fleshly satisfaction, but at the end of the day, when you're a believer or you're trying to reach how I look at it is, I reach for a goal that's higher than myself. I can't attain a higher place in life by me setting a certain standard for myself, because I'm gonna fail me every time. We are, as humans, I don't believe is capable of doing it. So we have to try to reach something that's higher than us so that we can try to elevate our beings and evolve, right? So when we're doing those things and we're evolving, we're trying to be like, what better way than to find something that's as a higher standard than us? So when you look at those things and you look at the outlining of it, it's like, no, it's no way in the world that crashing out can lead to anything positive and satisfactory in life, because those are the things that, like I said, from a believer aspect, goes against everything that we stand for. But then you'll get these people that'll get on here and say whatever. So these are little certain examples that make me sit back and realize, like I said, the people going back to the federal government, the people that do the buyouts and stuff like that, people need to understand their rights. People need to understand what they stand for. You know what I'm saying? Like, people need to understand the law. But if you're trying to navigate and do these things on your own, you're going to be lost. They tell you not to do the buyout. What I realized earlier too is, like, most people don't like fighting. They don't like fighting. They don't like getting into altercations. But that's the reason why I kept telling you, like, the whole thing, like, wanting peace to me is a way out. Is not saying that it's a weak move, but it makes you weak, because it's not gonna teach you how to fight when you need to fight. And I ran into my brother Keith last Sunday, and beautiful house, brother. I'm happy for you and your wife. I was telling him about a time that happened, a situation that happened when we used to work together. And I was like, I never understood it, because I was always taught to try to avoid problems and try to avoid. But then when problems came to me, I didn't know how to fight. So when it wasn't until he was in a situation, I looked at him and he was like, man, I want you to write me up. I want you to. I was like, I told him, I was looking at you like you was crazy, because who in their right mind want people to write them up? But see, when you understand your situation, when you understand the rules of engagement, when you understand what's up against you, you can actually fight properly. You got the tools, you are equipped properly to handle whatever's coming up against you. And that's the one thing that I didn't understand. It's not the fact that you're not supposed to fight. It's not the fact that you're supposed to, like, be in peace, but it's to say, when you find yourself in those situations, are you properly equipped? And the only way you can properly equip, especially if you're not used to something like that, is unless you have wise counsel. If you have advice, if you have a group of people that can pull their resources together to help your fellow man, to help your fellow sister in a situation, to help them get out of it. Like, it took a lot of people to help me get back to who I was after my separation and my divorce. It took a lot of older people that experienced life to pour into me, to pull me out of that dark place that I was in. Even now in my financial situations and me trying to be a successful business owner, I'm not going to be able to do that on my own. I have to tap into other business owners. It's just that, unfortunately, in the business, in the field that I want to get into, it's very predatory. And I've experienced predators enough in my life, whereas though it's like, I'm going to get what I get for you. I'm going to milk you until I get what I want. And the whole time, I'm still not going to train you properly to give you what you want. So right now, I have to do some alternative ways and trying to find alternative information to achieve what I want, because I don't feel like I'm at a situation in my life where I can afford to be taken advantage of.
Man, I'm glad you be having this conversation, because I thought about this whole topic when you first sent it to me. It's like, yo, I think we should talk about this on the next podcast. One of the things that I want to say to what you just said is, I think when we talk about the village, we got to be able to identify the village.
Mm-hmm.
I think within the villages there are different tribes within the villages. Mm-hmm. It's not the same tribe in the village, and that's why there's so much separation within the village, because you have you have a village of believers, and then you got a village of the non-believers, right? And then you got the village where you have people that know the word but don't care to live by the word. They're still also part of the village. So many different denominations within the village that it makes it hard for us to be able to, live by that title. It still takes a village, because within the village there's so much separation that there's no unity. Because what I feel like the village of believers should be doing, the village of non-believers, they don't believe in that. So if they see my kid going astray because they don't live by that standard, they wouldn't quickly run to my son to tell him, hey, stop what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, they might be the ones to encourage him to do what it is that he's doing that's negative. Whereby where a village of believers, at least the expectation is, if you see the brother doing something wrong, you want to reach out to them and say, hey, bro, this is not the way you want to go, right? Mm-hmm. But we all live in the same village where it's like everybody for self.
Right.
Everybody has become for self, where I'm only worried about me and mine. I be seeing that post on Facebook so much. I'm only worried about me and mine. I'm only worried about me and mine. I'm only worried about me and mine. And I see it, and I think it's a repetitive thing that I see on social media where, people try to remove themselves from that village. And that's why it makes it hard for people to get help within the village, right? Like, even for example, you might have somebody that need prayers because they're trying to buy a house, right? And right. I was told, keep everything to yourself because you don't know who's praying against you. There's demons. Man, if the demons is there, they're going to get you. They're going to get you regardless. They just set for you.
But it's weird to me because they also tell you, if God be for you, who can be against you? So what do you
right? Do? You know what I'm saying? So it's like we told not to even to tap into the resource within the village because we told to keep everything to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like really makes it hard for us to be able to say it takes the village when really we don't even believe in what that title is when we talk about takes the village. Now, I will say this though. Back in the day, back in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, leading up to the 2000s, it was like that to some degree. Because remember, if the kids were even hanging out, when we was hanging out on the corner and the street lights came on, it wasn't your parents calling you to come home. It was if whoever's house y'all was standing in front of or playing in front of, or the adult that was walking past or driving past, they're the ones that told us, hey man, y'all see the street lights on, y'all need to get back in the house. Y'all got school in the morning, right? Now you see these young dudes with their hoodies on, you ain't about to tell them, hey yo, you gotta go home. They're 13, 14 years old. That village is gone. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that village, the times has changed for the village where it used to be for the village. Now it's everybody in the village. Hey, I'm just worrying about me and mine. You know what I'm saying? As long as me and mine are good, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like one of the things that I used to talk about when I used to do the rallies and the Stop the Violence movements and stuff like that, because I used to always say, I'm out here beating pots and pans with the FTP movement. I'm beating pots and pans, literally. Beating pots and pans out in District Heights and Capitol Heights, Maryland, right? And I used to say, people don't come out to support until it happens to your child. That's when you want that support. But maybe had you came out there and brought your child and said, hey, you see what I'm doing for this mom right here? Because she lost her son. I don't want to lose you, so I'm out here marching and banging this because of you. When that time comes, I'll be back out there for your kid too as well. Because it didn't happen to me, but because I'm a part of that village and I know I'm not somebody special that it can't happen to. I wanted to make sure that I took that initiative and went out there and said, you know what, let's stop the gun violence. Where everybody was standing there driving past and watching me beat that pots and pans, I used to always say this when I came back and I did my Facebook Lives. The next child that I'll be beating pots and pans for is going to be your child because you didn't come out there.
And honestly, all of that is, and this is the part where I said with advisors, and I wish more, even spiritual leaders and stuff like that, would let these people know that all of that stuff is rooted in oppression. It's the whole adage of divide and conquer, right? And the sad part about it is that we have divisions even in our own sanctuaries and our own churches and stuff like that. And that's the reason why I feel like, we have a hard time connecting as the people, Because although you are a believer and non-believer, I'm not a bigot. I'm never going to tell a non-believer that my way is the right way. I'm never going to tell, like, it's people that I know, right? They'll spend their last dime going on trips, going out of town and this, that, and the other, but they living. And they look at me like, well, you didn't have no life experiences. I said, yeah, but my phone and my bills is paid up. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I can't sit back and say that you're going to be happier doing it my way. I have to respect the next person's way, next to me. And although you're a non-believer and I'm a believer, at the end of the day, we're in this together. And that's where the disconnect comes in. We're still a community. What the non-believers do, especially the black men and these young black men in the ski mask, reflects all of us. Yeah, you can stand out there and with the shiesties and do all the other things that you're doing. But at the end of the day, if I'm walking down the street with a black hoodie, the police or somebody that's trying to get you, and I'm looking like you and I'm the same build and I got my hoodie on because it's windy outside and they catch me from the back, that's going to affect me too. But see, those are the things that I'm grateful that my mom told me when I was younger. I try to pass that on and say, the decisions that you make don't only just affect you. Your decision that you make affects the people that love you, the community around you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Especially if and this is another taboo, is finances and stuff like that. Like, how do you even know if these people have like life insurance on you? How do you know if these people around you is covering you? And then now they have to go and set a GoFundMe page up and putting your family in hardship because you want to be a crash out and go on crash out missions, like, so it's different things like that. To me, is like, is unfortunate because even like you said before, like, the reason why they do those things now, we say, oh, don't tell nobody your plans and this, that, and the other. That comes from an old school mentality when, like, the uncles and aunts and stuff like that was molesting. I'm not maybe not the aunts, but the older people in the family is molesting little kids, or like y'all doing these things out of embarrassment. And it's funny because I just had this conversation again earlier with my daughter, and I told her a variation of this before, because when my daughter gets certificates, I take them. They mine. Mm-hmm. My daughter make the honor roll, that's my honor roll certificate. Like when you go and you earn CEO of the year, you can have that one because then you already doing. But while you're in school and you're doing these different things, they're mine. And the reason why I say that is because I'm the one that's teaching you and training you. That is a reward for me to let me know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And it's a joking thing, but that's true to a degree. That's why I look at it, right? And that's a reflection. And you're also learning. You know what I'm saying? So you're getting the overall benefit of it, but this is just a small token to me. But one of the days she was struggling in school, and I was like, well, why you didn't come and tell me? I mean, I take your certificates anyway, at least make me earn them. You know what I'm saying? Let me earn a certificate. If I'm here to help you, if you're going to let me take your certificates and your honor roll certificates and you're this, that, and the other, at least make me earn it by coming to ask for help. You did not get this far by yourself. And you're not going to get to where you're going to be by yourself. And that's, like I said, no matter what level of greatness inside of me, like that, like Saul, who turned into Paul, had somebody to help him. The disciples had Jesus. They had all these people that's in places because you have to learn where you got to go and do what you need to do before you get there, So it's all of the whole divide and conquer thing. As long as they can keep us divided and using stupid stuff like black women ain't this, and oh, this woman got 4 kids, and like it's crazy to say these things out of your mouth. It's crazy because what you're doing is you're tearing down, and there's nothing you're doing to build up. You're not saying, hey, sister, I understand you got 4 kids. I understand that you might be living a certain way. But what is it that you really want out of life? What is it that you're really looking for in life? Are you hurt? Are you broken? Are you damaged? You know what I'm saying? What can I do as a black man to help you heal? What can I do as a black man to help you because you still a part of my village? You still a part of my community. You still a part of this society. We still got to work it together. You see that woman that got 4 kids and no man around? Why you don't take the little boy up and start training him right so that he don't repeat the cycle? So that why you don't go and raise that little boy that you see and pour into that little boy so that little boy can grow up and have some kind of emotional stability and understand who he is as a man. But the problem is when you see things like that, what I'm honestly starting to believe is what they're doing is they just looking at themselves and they have a hard time dealing with what they see. So what they do is they tear it down because it doesn't make any sense for a person to do something like that. Y'all not speaking life. Y'all speaking death and condemnation into people. But me as a leader, me learning to be who I am, I'm going to look at that little boy and say, hey, man, I'm going to take this little boy under my wing. I'm going to help him how to be respectful to young ladies and how to be respectful to his teachers, even though I know he probably getting his butt whooped at home and somebody just yelling at him and making them feel like crap all day. Now, I'm going to show you what a real man, how he's going to present themselves, and I'm going to be that example for you in your life.
Yeah, I mean it's a tough situation we're in when it comes to the community when we talk about that village, man. It's really tough. It's really tough because it's also a lot of resistance, man. So even if you want to help them, the strong Black independent woman, sometimes they won't even give you the opportunity to even to be that help.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know any of them that want to be that way. I understand that there's women that have to be that way, like circumstances and situations and different things like that. And everyone that I've ever met, after I really sat down and talked to them and different things like that, I walked away from them conversations and those different things like I'm forced to be this way because of circumstances, but they don't know any other way. So me being the man that I am, it's kind of like, well, what I'm going to do in this situation? I can show you. I can be an example. Like I've had married women tell me, I wish my husband was like you. And I said, oh, that's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like who I am, I just have different morals. People look at me and think like I'm just, I don't know, it's weird sometimes the way people view me. I don't never get it because it's just me. And I don't really understand. I just try to be me. But when people say things like that to me, although it's flattering, I look at it like you asking for some of the most basic things. That's very basic. Because I'll show you the path. I'll show you exactly what I did. I can tell you. Not only that, it's like it's been married men that I wanted to like just pull up and talk to and be like, hey yo, bro, what we doing here? Like what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, like it just happened not too long ago, called me and accused me of having an affair with his wife. And I was like, man, it's like, but it was the craziest thing, right? Because most people don't know what Android phones, right? Because I have my profile picture with Google saved in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have an Android and my number is saved in your phone, my picture going to automatically pop up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talked about this on the pod, right? So it's like it's crazy to me. It was all because of a misunderstanding, and it was a church phone. It wasn't even a personal phone. It was like, yeah, your picture the only one that's in the phone. I'm just like, hey, yo, bro, like, ain't nothing happening. Like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. Like, why are you coming to me this way? Like the earthly side of me wanted to like really dig at him and like, yo, bro, you weak. You was a weak individual. You sound stupid as a man. I just don't understand it. What that says to me is that you don't know who you are. Because if you knew who you were and you appreciated you, and it's not like an arrogant or prideful thing, and it's because this is the way that I feel. A woman in my life is going to be like a cherry on top. A woman, and I think most people need to understand that, is that people that's in your life is supposed to bring additives to your life. But if they leave, it's not supposed to subtract nothing from your life. My heart is not mine to give to you, sweetheart. My heart belongs to God. You can never have my heart because I'm going to put it in something that's going to never fail me. And he has never failed me to this point in my life. He's corrected me. He's changed me. He elevated me. He showed me some things about me that I didn't want to see, some things I didn't like, but it was still loving. It was still soft. It was still caring. It was still nurturing. You know what I'm saying? But the times that I gave my heart to people, I was crushed. I was hurt. I was disappointed every single time. So I would never give my heart to people. You know what I'm saying? It don't belong to them. My heart belongs to God. So whether you in my life or not, you're supposed to make it better and easier. You're supposed to help me in a way. Yeah, that's good. But at the same time, I'm supposed to do the exact same thing and bring those same elements to you. You know, so you can never have like my heart. So whether you cheat on me or if you pass away, I'm going to be remorseful, different things like that. But I still have to find or get comfortable knowing that my happiness lies within God. My peace lies within God.
I mean that's tough. I don't look at it like that.
But most people do. That's what I'm saying. Like if you call your girl phone and you crashing out and you in your feelings and feel some kind of way, it means you don't understand yourself. You don't understand your.
Well, I'm not talking about so much as the going through the phone and calling the. I ain't gonna lie, I did that before. I ain't gonna lie. When I was younger, I did that before.
But you did also admit that you was insecure.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you're damn right. I had trust issues. Yeah, big time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, big time.
See, that's the part that they don't tell you. That's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I'm saying. That's why it takes a village. I don't understand it. I did it. And so me being a part of the village and whoever want to watch this broadcast and this conversation, during this conversation, all of us that done that can say I was insecure. All of us that did that can say that but we don't talk about it.
Yeah. But you gotta understand why we don't talk about it though. You gotta understand there's a reason. Not just that. It's just based on what you just said. You just sit there. If the worldly side of you wanted to tell that man like, yo, you weak.
Right.
That's how the community viewed the man.
No. I wanted to tell him he's weak so that he can understand what he's doing. So that he can work on himself. I didn't want to tell him that so I can tear him down. I wanted to tell him that.
Remember what you said, the pastor said. I think you said the lady said it's not about what you're saying. It's not about what you're saying. It's how you're saying.
That's why I didn't say it. That's why.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I still would tell him that in a loving way, though.
Well, yeah, okay. If you put it in that perspective, then yes.
If I ever saw this, I would hope now that he can look back and reflect on what he did and say, "Yeah, that was quite weak of me."
So I'm gonna give you a personal example, right? And hey, anybody that's tuning in, welcome to Finding Orders podcast. We are streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, well, not Instagram, YouTube, and our other Facebook page at Finding Orders podcast, right? So when I first got with my wife, right, when I first got with Dana, of course she had a daughter. She already had a daughter. So the baby father, or her daughter's father, he went to copping with us. He wasn't my homeboy. He wasn't my friend. He wasn't like you know what I'm saying? He was a nobody to me. That was Glenn's people's. That was his man's. You know what I'm saying? Right. I remember when I first got with her, and I told you I was insecure because I just had trust issues because, one, I didn't even know who my parents was until I was like damn nearly 8, 9 years old. I was only like seven months old when my mom left to come to the country, to the States. So I didn't have no bond to be able to have even that trust line with. Only person that I had a bond and a trust with was my grandmother. And when she died, I felt like my trust and everything died with her. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a while to build my trust with people. So when I first got with her, it was like it'd be like late night, her phone just going off, right? This is when we first started dating, right? So as the relationship went on, I knew I wanted to be with her, but I knew that, I just couldn't trust her all the way. You know what I'm saying? So I remember one night, her phone was going off, and it was Destiny's dad, Derek, right? So this Bama texting her like, yo, I missed you, and da-da-da-da-da-da, right? So now I'm in my crash out mode. You know what I'm saying? I'm all the way out with it, right? So I said, all right, okay, I see. Of because what she's telling me and what I'm seeing is two different things. He ain't been around. He's a deadbeat. I'm getting all of that, but I see the text message still coming in. There's access to it, right? So, make a long story short, it took me a while, and I said, "Dang, how can she really be cheating? She's over here when she get off work. She come over here and cook dinner. She cleans up. She's here with me 24/7. How she gonna even have the time to, go see him?" So I said, you know what? Maybe I need to fall back. Maybe I need to fall back. So you know what I started to do? I said, you know what? Instead of me feeling like that and having that type of attitude, I'm gonna open up an olive branch. I'm gonna send him an olive branch. I think that's when you guys mean like peace in America. Somebody send you olive. It's a form of peace, right? Or something. So I'm gonna just try to build that, that line of communication so I don't misinterpret what maybe I'm seeing. Even though I see the text messages or whatever, I'm gonna talk to him. So first time I try to talk to him, it ain't go right. Second time I try to talk to him, it ain't go right. Now we like a year, 2 years into the relationship. Now we got a son together, right? So I remember one day she wanted us to go take a trip with the kids, go out of the country. But of course she needed a passport, which is Destiny. She needed a passport. So, he had to sign off on the paperwork or whatever. So she reached out to him, said, yo, I need you to sign this paperwork. So, and her saying that gave him an opportunity to again say, hey, I miss you, la la la. Just still trying to work his hand. You know what I'm saying? So I seen it. I said, you know what? We're gonna have a man-to-man conversation. So usually we used to drop Destiny off on the weekend, and then he'll have her till Sunday, and then we meet up at a drop-off spot, and then we bring her back. So I went with her. I'm in the driver's seat, and Destiny comes to the car. He's with his son, and this is the reason why I spared him that day, because he was with his son. So he goes into I get out the car. I say, yo, Derek, let me holler at you. I need to talk to you, because I want to talk to you like a man. I want us to have that conversation so we can talk like a man. So he walks into the 7-Eleven. He act like he ain't hear me. I said, all right, cool. I walk in the 7-Eleven with him. I'm like, yo, let me holler at you, man. I need to talk to you. I really want to talk to you as a man. So his son turned around and looked at me like, Daddy, I know you hear, because I know I hear him. I know you hear him. So I stepped out the 7-Eleven because I ain't wanted to be like I'm trying to go all the way out like that. So I waited for him outside, and he come outside. I said, yo, let me holler at you, man. He kept walking in. So I said, Dirt, and let me holler at you.
Some basic.
So that African accent came out. So he stopped. And I said, hey, man, I came into this relationship with Dana knowing that she had a child with you. And I came into this relationship knowing that you guys didn't have a relationship, but y'all share something special together. Listen, keep your conversation with her about your child, about your daughter. Don't make it where you're trying to reach your hand over there, because when you do that, I feel like you're disrespecting me, because we have a relationship. Mm-hmm. Now I feel like you're reaching out you just being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? I said there's two things I can happen. I can make it very difficult for you to see your child, or I can make it very, very comfortable where I can help you raise your child and be there when you're not there physically. He did not say nothing. He walked away. That was the last time he ever texted Dana anything regarding, Destiny or in any kind of way. That was the last time, right? And I would see him at, functions and stuff like that concerning Destiny. He'll come in and he'll speak. Before, it wasn't no conversation. But it wasn't so much, and I'm saying that to say this, it's not so much as, not being able to have that communication, because one, she's with me, she lives with me. So going back to that, it takes that village thing. Yes, it takes us to be able to help even raise your child. It takes me, it takes you, it takes your mom, your grandmother, it takes all of us. But the thing is, people are scared to have these uncomfortable conversations. And that's why when you said, well, I'm thinking in my head, my words sound like, yo, bro, you weak. You get what I'm saying? I can tell you when I'm wrong, because I don't have any pride in me. My only pride in me is that I pride and I boast about God. That's the only prideful thing I ever have in my body. But as far as being able to humble myself to Hey man, I used to be like that. But see, the thing is, a lot of people don't have that thick skin like me. You can criticize me, it don't even affect me. And
Right,
matter of
right.
fact, I actually get you giving me knowledge by criticizing me. You actually telling me how I need to move and what I need to do better. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I never understood why people felt that kind of way. I feel you. I feel the same way you feel.
You get what I'm
It's only
saying?
gonna
So
make
it's
me
like,
better. It's only gonna make me a
right.
better person.
So to me, I feel like it's just the conversation when it comes to about it still takes the village. I feel like the village has become so watered down because of, like you said, tearing down people. I shared that video when that lady who was like the new what's the guy that passed away? The guy that used to tear the women down all the time. He passed not too long
Oh,
ago.
Mr. Samuels, yes.
Yes, Mr. Samuels. She's like a female version of him, right? And she like, well, how many kids you got? I got 5. I don't about the same man. No, I got 5 baby.
I think
I
hers
mean,
is
to
different.
some degree. To some degree.
I'm gonna say why. Because I think if you look at that video again that you shared, at the bottom of it was a black man on it.
Yeah.
He cut that video up to make it look that way, right?
Okay.
Because I've seen her before. She is like a relationship coach. And in fact, she said at one time, she said, I don't think I'll even want to do it anymore because the women that she talked to have unrealistic expectations. You know what I'm saying? And so she would ask those same questions, but it wasn't her tearing them down. It was her trying to do it the way that realistically I wish he would have done it. Because like I said before, a lot of people don't understand that man was a singles ministry leader in his church. That man was a minister, like in his church. And I think that's the reason why I said that one time, like a lot of people will be disappointed. Like I really feel like he'll probably be disappointed in these men today, you know, because I don't really believe that was the intent of why he was making the content that he was making. You know, I think the intent on making the content that he was making, like in order for it to blow up and sell. Because if you ever go back and look, he has some earlier videos about telling men how to put belts together, how to dress, how to put clothes together, colognes and stuff like that. He was mad skinny, mad young. But then it wasn't until he brought the entertainment part of it to what he was trying to do to the platform. And now it was all of a sudden, because don't get me wrong, like I said, I understand the angry black man in America. I understand it. I just don't agree with it because what you don't understand as an angry black man in America, they are still profiting off of you. They're trying to make money off of you. And you just walking around allowing people to use you. You're allowing them to take advantage of your anger. That's the reason why, you know, the current president is in a situation that he's in. He's taking advantage of their anger. He's taking advantage of them. He's taking advantage of their situation. Oh, we becoming minorities in America. Make America great again. He's taking advantage of an anger and a subconsciousness, and he's bringing it to the forefront. And it's no different than what they're doing with blackness. There's no different what they're doing with the black man. There's no different what they're doing with the agenda. And we just fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. Instead of staying true to who we are and who we were created to be, we're not staying true to ourselves. You know, and that's why it's falling apart. We're letting the propaganda win. We're letting the nonsense in. And like I said, we're the gatekeepers. I remember one time we talked about on the podcast, it was like years ago, there was a clarion call in the spiritual realm. And everybody kept saying, we got to rebuild the wall. We got to rebuild the wall. But who did it? Who did it? That was the prophecy from the Old Testament. The walls are still down. They're still allowing the influence, the negativity, and the nonsense in the world to infiltrate the spiritual sanctuaries and the spiritual places and the sacred grounds that we believe in. And we are recording and responding to that. You know, one thing I do want to say, you know, your man, Pastor Bryant, like I see a video of him earlier. And like I said, to me, it's like a lot of these people, they always lose me at the end, right? They're saying there's this great uplifting, encouraging, empowerment stuff, but then they just always lose it at the end, right? And there's certain things that he do say that I do agree with. Like I do agree with some of the stuff he's saying. I do agree with the stance because some people have to go out on the front line. And I agree with that. Some people do have to fight, you know, but why is I've seen these videos, I've seen this man probably at least 10 times in the videos, And not one time have I ever heard him say, let's pray. I have never heard him say, let's pray for this nation. Let's pray for the leadership. I never heard him say, let's pray for the president. I never heard him say, let's pray. Why is it that we can't do all of these things but still ask God for guidance and wisdom and how we're supposed to do it? We making these movements, we doing all this other stuff, but why it's like we do everything but pray nowadays. As if prayer don't work anymore. But when you do that, you take us further away, like you said, and water us down. Because now we're more concerned about the things of this world as opposed to being more concerned about things of the spirit. Because if we just did what we supposed to do in the spirit and build the spirit back up, you're going to draw. What did he say? If I be lifted up, I'll draw all men unto me.
Yeah.
But we ain't lifting them up no more. It's just like you said, just worry about you and focus on you. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that you sitting up there doing the things and the boycotts and the stuff that you're doing. But you're still not lifting him up. Where are you lifting him up?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. To me, it's just my only concern now is how do we save the village? Like, how do we save the village?
We save the village by lifting them up. What we doing on this podcast tonight? We are, and everybody that stays in these conversations and listen to these conversations, we are the village. We are the new village. We are the village that still makes the difference. You know, so we build and fortify one another. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wish more people would, interact. I wish more people would give us feedback and talk to us and let us know, you know what I'm saying? Because when you're doing this kind of work, you know what I'm saying, you want to at least know that you're doing the right thing. You want to at least know that you're still doing the right path, even though we're being led by the Spirit and we're being led by God and trying to do the right thing. That support, that feedback still helps us be encouraged to continue to do what we're doing. We're going to do it regardless, but it still encourages us to let us know that we are on the right path and we're still saying something that's resonating with the people so that we can continue to do what we're doing. You know, that's the only thing about it. But like I said, everybody that's watching this, everybody listening to this, we're still the village. And the only way we're going to build this village back up is unless we get back to where we need to be, right? We got to fortify and uplift one another so that when we get to where we need to be, we can draw the people to it and show them how they're supposed to be walking, because I don't think there's a lot of people nowadays is actually directing and showing the people how they're supposed to be. There's so many people today, I believe, it's empty, right? They're just so empty, bro. And they out here looking for any and everything to fill that. But we don't talk about it. That's the village. I know this one person, he says like, I have to go out. I have to be out around people. Like, you don't have to do anything. You want to be around people. You want to socialize. You want to feel like you're not alone. You want to feel like it, but you don't realize that there's a stronger and tighter community of people that will actually support you, love you, and lift you up if you just wasn't being selfish. Because it's more people that's really trying to really build and band and put things together as opposed to tearing them apart. You know, and I think if we can work through that lie and we work through that superficialness to say that I'm going to stand over here and build my village. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like with you, me and you, say you got a lack or some things that's going on with you. And then you tell me about it. And I be sitting over here like, oh, well, I got to get mine. Like, no, my job is to fortify you. My job is to tap into whatever things that I got, resources that I have, or whatever things, connections that I have. Same way that you was doing for FTP, right? And the things you tap to your resources and what you have, and you're doing it and you're feeding it. That's how you build it. It is that people forget it. And I believe that even the people that join us in these conversations is the remnants and the very few people that still believe in those type of concepts. But we know that one person can make a difference. 1,000, 2, 10,000. So right now, man, you putting 10,000 demons and spirits to flight, bro. And everybody else that stands in that, you know, they gonna add on to the number. See, he only said 1,000, 2 10,000. I don't know the math on 3 because the 2 to 10,000 math to me don't work. That's spiritual math, That's like that manna from heaven. I don't know where he got that math from. But if we got 3, 4, 5, 6 people watching this, we all put these things to flight. We are more powerful than we think we are when we stand on this together.
Yeah, I honestly, and it's funny because it go back to like when we talk about like having more people be more reactive to this podcast and joining this podcast, and we talking about it, and just trying to uplift the community. It just comes from the fact that we not popular about what the village talks about. We don't have the popular conversation. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about, if we were sitting here talking about if tearing down people right now, this thing would be jumping.
Oh, it'd be lit. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why it's like we talk about the community as the village, and that's why I always said when we come on here, I said, it's not for everybody. This message is not for everybody because everybody don't want to be a part of the change. Everybody's fine with the way that the community is now because it's all for self. It's all about me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get more entertainment out of you when you struggle than I'm gonna try to even help you. I actually want to see you struggle. I'm gonna give you another thing, right? So look, my neighbor that lives on the side of me, right? I seen his trash can was blown away sometime last week. And I came downstairs and I hear it. So I go downstairs into the office and I open my window and I'm looking and I'm standing there and I'm just watching it blow and blow and blow and blow. And it was like somebody was pushing it all the way up to like as far as I can get away from his house. So I looked at it and I looked at it and I looked at it and I said, should I go in out there and get this trash can? And if I go get it, where should I put it at? Should I put it back where it was at? Or should I put it closer to his garage? Or should I put it where he keeps them in the side of the house? So I looked at it, called my brother, talked to my brother, and then something said, look outside. And when I looked outside, the trash can was further away from where it was at before. So what I did was I laughed and I said, I'm about to go get his trash can. So I went outside, got the trash can, I brought it all the way back and I put it right in front of his garage door because if I left it on the side, I was scared of it because his house kind of like sloped down on the side. I thought it might blow down and it just keep going down. But if I keep it in front of the garage, at least it's going to be protected because the wind was blowing the opposite way. Mm-hmm. So I was training with my son in the garage and he pulls up and he goes, thank you. And I thought to myself, well, how the hell did he know that I'm the one who grabbed the trash can for him?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? I'm in the garage and I'm helping my son. We're doing the resistance band workouts, and all I heard was like, Joe. I said, yeah, what's up, man? He said, man, thank you. I said, thank you for what? He said, thank you for grabbing my can. I'm like, how you know it was me? He said, I just know it was you. You get what I'm saying? But because he know that I'm always looking out. If, hey, Rob, man, your trash can was up. So he automatically knew that was me. Mm-hmm. But all my other neighbors, they all drove, and it was smack dab in the middle of the cul-de-sac. They all drove their cars around it and left it right there. That's what had me laughing because when I was looking, I saw my neighbor to the left. He pulled in, drove around the trash can, and parked his car in the driveway. I see my other neighbor right across from me. I see her pull in, drive around it, slow down, looked at it, and pulled up in the driveway. They grabbed their trash can. I went and grabbed my one trash can that was still out there, and his was the only one that was in smack dab in the middle of the street. Now, we're talking about living in the cul-de-sac where we all supposed to be looking out for each other. Now, this is what I'm talking about when I said the community, they don't gravitate to things like this.
Right.
Because they're wrapped up in their own ignorance. They're wrapped up in their own negativity. They're wrapped in, well, if it's happening to you, I shouldn't worry about it because it ain't directly affecting me. You worry about that. That's why I said what we're doing, it's not for everybody. I'll take 10 before I take 1,000. You know why? Because everybody is not meant to go there. They know what's going on. They see the notification comes on. Oh, yeah, they ain't talking about that. They talking about God. Everybody want to hear that. Next. But if I was talking about my wife and I'm dogging my wife on this joint right now, man, that thing would be hitting.
You know what it is? The only example that I can give, and from my understanding, and it's funny because I gave this example earlier today while I was at work. I feel like we are. Do you remember them? I don't know how long. How old you were when you said you came to America?
I was like maybe 9, 8, 9.
Nah, you've probably been around long enough. You've been around long enough. You remember them old school lamps that our grandparents had and the old folks had? They had like this big shade that sat on top of it. Underneath of it was like a light bulb, right? That light bulb could have been an 80 watt, could have been a 100-watt light bulb. But the moment you put that shade over top of that light bulb,
it's a 50.
In fact, you probably had to put a high wattage light bulb in there. It's funny. Because one year I went back to put a pin in this real quick. If you ever go back and find one of them things and look at how much the wattage of the light bulb is supposed to be, half the time it's not even supposed to be greater than a 60-watt light bulb. But us being black, we put that 75 and that 100 in there with no problem.
Facts.
We didn't even care about the wattage like that sticker. But that's how I look at it. There's a lot of people I feel like got shades over top of their bright light bulbs, or they have let society in the world put a shade over something that was good and something that was bright and something that was good in the world, and I think that society allowed us to cover that up so we don't see things the way that we're supposed to see it. And I think it only takes one man. And I think, recently I've been putting music on the flyers that we do. And I'm mad that it didn't hit me until now, the perfect song that I could have put on there. And it's by Big Sean. In fact, my brother Kevin put me on the song. He said, one man could change the world. Because one man did change the world. And the only way that I can look at this and find out about the differences that we can make and one man can make. So I used to go to church on Primrose, right? Hood, mad hood, right? And when we first got to the church, across the street from the church was an alley. And I guess that's where the neighborhood used to throw trash at, like when they missed the trash day or something. I don't know. I don't understand how a mindset of people can get comfortable even doing something like that. Like, because you live here. I think it's the same thing like when people go in a Family Dollar and steal, right? Like, dog, you steal it from yourself. That's the reason why the prices is so high. That's why these things are going on. You steal it from yourself. You steal it from your community. You can't steal from your community and steal from yourself because you're the one that's going to pay the price for that. That doesn't make any sense, right? But I called 311 because I didn't know what to do. I called the city, and the city was like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll send somebody out there to come and get it. I'm like, oh, really? That's the first thing that I learned. And the city came out there. They cleaned that stuff up. And then on Wednesdays, when we used to have Bible study, I would try to get to church early, and I would go and sweep up the neighborhood. I would go up and down the neighborhood, picking up trash and trying to clean up. And then this one lady looked at me and said, you live around here? I said, no, I go to the church up the street. The lady went right back in the house and came back outside with a trash can. And I guess it was her mindset saying like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to let you that don't even live around here clean this neighborhood up. And then from there, it was, other people started joining me every Wednesday. So that's what I'm saying. I exposed them to it to show them you can actually make a difference if you go out there and do what it is you're supposed to do and not sit back and point fingers and criticize and talk about it. There's more people sitting around criticizing and talking about it than actually getting out there and doing it, So yes, go out there and do it. So the other examples that was when I ended up moving in West Baltimore because I used to live off I want to say it was Longwood. And it was the same thing. I would go out back, rats running around everywhere because it was like an empty lot behind there and everybody threw it. Called 311 again. They came out there, cleaned that stuff up. And the whole time that I stayed over there, that lot never got dirty again. But it's just a matter of someone showing them or letting them know that you can make a difference if you try. You can go out there every single day. Like you said, it was just you when you started for the people. You didn't. The next thing you know, you marching. You out there with a whole bunch of people. You said on your job. You went in and they start talking to them. Then they started donating to you, right? And so that you can go help these families. It always starts with just the vision It just takes one person to get off of the porch to go and do it. It only takes one. So when you get off the porch and you go and do it, then you'll start seeing it eventually because your work is going to pay off. That's why the Bible says don't be weary in well doing. You're not supposed to be weary in doing the right thing. You're not supposed to just be, like you said, like we always say, be inside the church and helping people. You know what I'm saying? Your next door neighbor need help. Your son around the corner need help. But it's easy to help the people that you closest to when you at work or you in church or this, that, and the other, not knowing that the person around the corner is struggling from you. Like, yeah, go help them out. Like, go give them a plan. You know, don't be like well versed in your information and your knowledge of investing and home improvement and different things like that. And then when you see people who struggling or got patches and holes in their house, and you don't even offer, hey, look, man, I know how to fix this. I can help you with that. I'm very knowledgeable about this. But that's the reason why I usually try to take the time out to try to help anybody. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all this thing. Anybody that has debt collection, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what it takes for you to have a village, right? If you say you owe Comcast $100, they want 30 cents on the dollar. Those debt consolidation companies, when they tell you on the TV and the commercials, hey man, we're gonna help you consolidate your debt, and different things like that, they know that. That's how they do it. They only want 30 cents on the dollar. So if you owe them $100, hey, listen, man, you need to write them a letter, see if y'all can get an agreement, and say, hey, listen, man, I got $30 I can put towards this. If you set this $30 because it's in collection for a reason, they just want money. They probably want to close it out. Hey, if I give you this $30, can you agree to close this out? But you got to get it in writing because at the same time, they try to put you in a trick bag. Mm-hmm. So always put everything in black and white. So get it in black and white. I don't care if it's $5,000, it's 30% of that. $50,000 is 30% of that. That's how the game works. I learned that. I'm not trying to tell as many people as I possibly can about that so you can get out of debt collection. I tell them, go ahead, write this letter. I got pre-written letters already. If something on your credit report that's old, you got to go out and print out your credit report. It's crazy because I know people who scared to even look at their credit report. Like, why are you scared to look at your credit report? Because they don't know how to deal with it, right? Go print your credit report out. Go send each and every write the account number to every last one of them accounts. And then go out there and say, hey, I think y'all reporting this X amount account wrong. Send that to Experian, send that to the other two, TransUnion and Equifax. Send that letter to them with the account and say, hey, I think this is being reported on my credit wrong. See what happens. Like, don't never, when people call you and they ask you, hey, is this JoJo? Can you tell us the last 4 digits? Like, no, you called me. The reason why they do that, the reason why they do that is because they try to verify your identity.
Hey, you want to hear something? Not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Hey, yo, I got that call today, right? I got a call like that today. I got a call. Matter of fact, today's Friday. I got it. Hold on. I got it 3 days in a row. So the Bama call, he said, he was an Indian guy, nice guy. He said, my name is such and such. I'm calling from such and such. I want to know if this is Mr. Bopalm. I said, how can I help you? He said, well, this is a collection matter. I want to know if this is Mr. Such and such. I said, how can I help you? He said, well, you can help me by verifying if this is Mr. I said, how can I help you? He said, you know what? I don't think you can help me. I hung up.
You don't work for the ops, man. You identify me, you come to me.
I know I owe you money. I know it's me. I know it's me. I know who answered the phone. But you want me to how can I help you? He says, is this you? I said, how can I help you? He said, I don't think you can help me because you're not verified. I hang up. He called back today, the same thing. He said it's going to be 2 days in a row. I said, how can I help you? And he hung up. But yeah, man, it's yo.
I'm not going to identify myself for the ops, bro. Especially if you calling my phone. What you calling my phone for?
I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
You gonna
I
tell
ain't
me
even
what
gonna,
you want or what's going on? I'm never gonna do that. I
I ain't
learned
even
that.
gonna lie
I
to
learned
you.
that stuff a long time ago.
I ain't even gonna
Fixed
lie to
my
you.
credit in like 2 years. I went to God. I want to say I was 30. At the time I was 30. I said, I'm gonna buy a house, I'm gonna buy a car, and I'm gonna get my credit right in the next 5 years. That was my 5 years plan. And that's why I said when you give things over to God and let God do it, there's no telling what he gonna do. So I got all that stuff in 2. He allowed me to get all that stuff in 2 years. And I said, dang, I gotta go back to the drawing board. I gotta figure out what I need to do for the next 5 years. I did all this in 2. It wasn't me. I give him the credit for it.
Yeah. 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 It definitely it definitely does take the village. But I think
Still,
it's yeah, we have to, and yeah, and that's one thing, so not to cut you off, that's one thing that I feel like is missing from the African American community, man. We need a
yeah.
leader. We need a leader. We need that person that's going to lead the community, and not just anybody. I've been saying this. I even said this about my own country, because my country is a very prominent country, but our leaders are just so jacked up. They all come in and they all get influenced, just like American government system
Right.
here too as well, right? And the African American community, when we talk about the community, when you talk about Martin Luther King, I was stopping Martin Luther King. Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and them, to me, they were watered down. They were watered down. They wasn't able to connect to this generation. But they did their work and they did it very well for the community for the little bit that they can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you take them 2 guys out, who do the African American have that they can say this is a leader of our community? Like how back in the 50s and 60s, in the 70s, we can say these other names. Who can you say in the 2000s? Not even the 90s. I'm not even gonna get, because I'm not even gonna go to the 90s. I'm gonna just say the 2000s. If we sat down one day and we had to have this conversation with our kids when we get old, 80, 90 years old, and our kids like, I remember when Brother Aaron was marching down Pennsylvania Avenue, who we gonna talk about?
It's a good question, bro.
Oh, he said, so
What do you say?
he said Jay-Z and baby oil. But it's true though. We don't have no leaders. We don't have any. We don't have nobody that we can say,
I've been asked
oh,
that question for years, man.
because everybody, even when you look at your churches, even when we talk about when we say, the church should be the leader of the community. You talk about your pastors, like what's his name? The guy they say was at Diddy's party. He just had a stroke not too long ago.
Mr. Jakes.
TD
Bishop
Jakes. Yeah, Bishop Jakes. And then we talk about Mr. Sapp, Mr. Lock the Doors. That's his nickname now, Mr. Lock the Doors, ushers. Then you talk about Pastor Bryant. Hey man, let's grow some weed in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you look at it, it's like, it's like where the leaders are at?
Before he moved to Georgia, he down there with you now.
He ain't my man. He is not my man, yo.
No,
he was in Baltimore, right? Wasn't he in Baltimore? Didn't they run him out of Baltimore?
No, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't
I ain't gonna hold tight. There's some video.
He accepted, because that church he's at used to be Bishop Eddie Long church. So they kind of like appointed him the leader there at the Bishop Eddie Long pastor.
And then they ran him out of Baltimore, man.
Itself, right? That's a whole nother story in itself, right? Because if you go back and look at some of the stuff with that, but
yeah, my thing is,
he was here when I want to say it was Freddie Gray, right? Mm-hmm. Was that Freddie Gray that died here?
Yeah, we talking about when they had broke his back or something, his neck or something inside the back. Yeah, that was Freddie Gray.
So my thing is, it was a group of black leaders. Even Carmelo Anthony came. Everybody marching and walking down the street. They was holding hands and all this other stuff, and that was good. But my thing is, when them 8 people died on Edmondson about a week later, where were they?
Oh yeah.
And that was the part that I didn't understand. Like stuff like that I look at, and that's the reason why, like you said, the things get watered down. That's the reason why the stuff that happens the way that it happens. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll show up when it's political and when you're trying to aim that anger at something, you know what I'm saying? Or even if you just showed up to help bring the peace so that the politicians and the police and stuff can have, like nobody's in those rooms. Nobody's in those closed doors when they have those meetings and doing stuff like that. It's not like y'all doing it out in the open so that people can know what's going on, right? Because if in my cynical brain, when I look at stuff like that, I can say, hey man, y'all did that as a political ploy and a play. You know what I'm saying? For the politicians, what y'all get out of that? That's a good question. I wonder what y'all get out of that. But then even if y'all did it, then why didn't y'all show up when it really mattered, when them people died over there? Why is it time and time again? Like they used to have like a 1,000-man march here. They used to have like the black men's group. I forget, because it was this guy, David Johnson. Used to work at my daughter's school. He was a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. And it's like, what happened to those groups? What happened to these people? You know what I'm saying? You got the Safe Streets in Baltimore, who's been accused of embezzling and laundering money and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. So, and then you got the mayor's office that don't even want to investigate it. So it's different things like that. I've been asking that question for years. Where is the leaders? Where are they? Well, the leaders ain't around because the people have forgot. It says the fervent prayers of the righteous avail much. And I just honestly believe that we have really not upheld the things that we supposed to upheld, because somewhere down the line, I honestly believe that the churches and different things like that had just never put the wall back up and set the standard. But, there's no time like the present to get back on the horse and do what we got to do. That's how I feel. It's not all doom and gloom and hopelessness out there. We can change it if we need to change it. You know what I'm saying? We just got to remember who we are.
Yeah. Now you're right. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, I haven't given hope on I haven't given up hope on the community. I just feel like right now the community is so lost that we all have to do some self-evaluation to really find out who we are, because I feel like we've given our title away. We didn't value what we had or what our grandparents did for us. We didn't value it. That generation after our parents, they didn't value that, what our grandparents did for them. They left it alone. They didn't really instill that in us. I think our generation, that 2001, 2002, 2003 generation, pretty much was the last generation where you can say they had some sense. Anything after the 2005, 2006, they're different. Their care for life was a lot different. We still had the old heads telling us what to do and how to move and how, what to do things. I feel like along the way, and then our generation of parents, like our age group, we stopped being parents and wanted to be like our kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we lost.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Say that again.
Oh yeah, that's most definitely. Yeah, our generation of parents, like the 80s, like the 82s, the 83s, the 84s, 85s, right? I'm going to keep it within that 5-year gap. That have parents and kids now that are like 15, 16, 17, 18. We become like our kids. Sometimes our kids act more mature than we do. We go to restaurants. What's that?
I think people forgot what that level of selflessness is like. Like you said, they started looking at themselves like, oh, I can still be a baddie, or I can still do this and I can still be that, and I don't have to change in who I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, me personally, I feel like, and it is tough, and you'll find a lot of people that disagree with what I'm about to say. I don't know why, but my daughter didn't ask to be here. We as parents selfishly bring kids into this world. None of the kids say we want to be here. We just make up our mind and say that, hey, we want to have kids, and we bring them to this world. And what I did was, for the last 15 years, I have not made my life about me. I have tried my best to do what was best for my daughter at every single stage in her life. And does that mean I had to put some things on the back burner? Yes, because at that point, it's not about me. And that's the thing that, like you said, we don't talk about anymore. Like this, I seen this girl the other day pushing this huge baby stroller with this huge backpack on. And that kind of like broke my heart, because I'm like, I remember going through that. I remember dealing with that situation. But I wonder if she knew what she was signing up for before she did that. And that's the part where I've seen people in my age group, a little bit younger than me, who had parents that had multiple kids out of wedlock and then allowed their kids to go down that same path. And it's just like, but at what point in time did you saying that I'm gonna be a mother and love them and warn them and not let them go down what I went through? Like parents that's been sexually abused, who never share their scars and their pains with their kids, to let them say, "Hey, baby, I know what you've been through, what you experienced. Let me help you heal." Or y'all just watch them go down the same path. I sit back and like, but where is it? Where's the love? Where you saying you love these people? How you love them? I know people who said back then was like, well, I've been through hell. Hell, they've been through it too. I'm like, but they're not you. You don't know if that kid got what it takes inside of them to survive what you survived. And some of them nowadays not even built the same way we were. There's nothing that you can do to make them built that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that your model don't even exist no more.
Yeah.
I see so many emotionally unstable men in today's world. It's crazy. But then yet we supposed to be all this, we tough and we macho and we alpha. But y'all are some of the most emotionally unstable people I've ever seen in my life. I just never seen nothing like this, bro.
You remember the last time we had a podcast? I think one of the episodes, I might want to say maybe like 2 episodes ago. I told you, I said, one of the things that my dad told me was when we was coming up, he said, because I didn't have my father, I'm not going to take care of y'all. This is one of the things my dad said to me. And when he said that, I'm thinking like, damn, I thought it was supposed to be the other way around. Like what, as a parent, you didn't get, you wanted your kids to have. If you didn't have a good life, you wanted to make sure your kids had a good life. If your dad won in your life, you wanted to make sure you was in your kids' life. I thought that's how it was supposed to be. But this is what my dad told me. Mm-hmm. He said, I didn't have my dad because my grandfather passed away when my dad was only like 9 years old. So he never had, and he doesn't have any brothers. It's all sisters. So he's like the only guy among sisters raised by his mom and his grandmother and his uncle, right? Mm-hmm. So when he told me that, I was like, damn, well, that's messed up. Because you didn't have your dad, you ain't going to take care of us. I bet. Well, when I have my kid, I'm going to make sure I do the opposite. I'm telling everybody how I know I'm a great father. I know I'm a hell of a father. You know why? Because exactly what my father told me. That man told me that. I said, I would never treat my son like that. In this household, they're jealous of my son. All of them. I can point all of them, including the little one that walk around here like the head honcho. I tell all of them. They're all jealous of my son. Not because I do more for him, because my relationship with him is a lot stronger. Not because I favor him the most, because if we talk about favoritism, I love all my kids equally. Everybody presents something different, right?
You can't do that.
Right, I can't. But with my son, this because one, I told you the last one on this podcast, I said, if my name survives in this country because of my son, my daughters will get married, their last name is going to change. My son's name, my last name, Bopalm, if it rises in America, he's the first generation of this country. I'm not the first generation. I wasn't born here.
Like the one actress who made her husband take her last name.
Oh, it ain't going like that. We different over here, buddy. Oh no, we ain't going for that. I don't believe in that. We from the West Coast. We're from the West Coast of Africa. Kentampo is the village, right there in that little hole by the waterfall. That's where we from. We don't do that westernized mumbo jumbo. You take my last name as I'm the woman. Are you serious? Marry yourself then. You get what I'm saying? But
you know
what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying is like when we talk about the village and what you're talking about, passing your experiences, you want to make sure that doesn't happen to this generation, because if we don't do something about this generation and we just sit around and say, you know what, let me just worry about me and mine. Let's not, man, it's a lot. We lost. We are lost. We have laws. And I like what she said. She said, we have to stop waiting for Superman to come and save this. It's us. I think Kenneth used to say it all the time when we used to do out there, when we used to do our little protests and stuff like that. Kenneth used to always say, everybody's looking for that white what is it? The white horse, the man sitting on the white horse coming to save the African American community. It ain't no politician coming to save us. It ain't no church coming to save you. Ain't no the pastors are screwing you up. They're not even coming to save you.
You know what the sad part about it, what I'm finding is that
man
on that white horse, unfortunately, to a lot of black men, looks white. And that's the part. And I'm not trying to turn to a race war thing, but I just see so many of these black men looking up to and worshiping these white men, these white rich men, and it's kind of like, hey man, you know, they pulled this on us back in like the 60s and the 70s and like the 50s.
But Aaron, what do you expect when you can sit there and tell the black community if you don't vote for a particular party, you ain't black, and they're telling you, and you still vote for him? The mentality. They
looking at the orange man and the vice Musk man, the truck man, the cyber man.
The Cyberman. So there's Rocket Man and then there's the Cybertruck Man.
Cybertruck Man. All that. They looking at them like, yo, these dudes like, they not saving you. They don't even care about you for real. These rich billionaire people don't care about you. They're just using you. They're using your voice to make them like. I never seen so many black men fight for rich people. Like that's crazy. Like it was always the opposite, from my understanding. Not to say that we can't obtain it or they evil or wrong for having a wealth, but at the same time, it's like the evil that they're doing with their wealth and the things that they're doing is not to help people. So how would you champion that when 90% of them came exactly from where we came from? And that's the part to me I don't understand. I can see if they were the same people that helped you get out of where you was from. That's just crazy. So I don't know. I think it really just boils down to greed. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's that selfishness.
Everybody's for self, man. Yeah, everybody's for
self-hate, that selfishness, them sitting up there thinking that they're going to be able to do it themselves. Maybe they are tired of the gatekeepers. Maybe they're tired of the black people who got up there and never showed them how to get there. But that don't mean you turn into them. You know, I say it all the time. I try to be the father to my daughter that I always wanted myself. You know, and it's not to say that the men that was in my life didn't do a good job. It's just that I had a different perspective and a different understanding of what I was looking for in a father, you know, and that's what I try to be to my daughter. You know, I say I would never sit back and point fingers because they did what they did and they did it the best way that they knew how to do it. So I don't fault them or blame them for anything. You know, they gave me what they had. And I thank them for that. But the type of man that I want to be and the type of man that I want my daughter to look up to, I just try to be that. You know, they got their own stories about their own fathers and the things that they had to endure. Maybe they just never seen it like that. You know, like I said, I'm saying this on this particular topic because this is the part of the village that needs to be addressed and talked about in our communities. To say you don't sit back and make excuses for the things that you didn't have in your life. The question is, you know what you wanted in your life, and it's okay to be that. You have to go and find out how to be that. You know, find out to be understanding. I realized like I'm my daughter's first teacher. I always like teach me. My daughter used to tell me early on when she was younger. See, I don't understand why they're yelling at me like that. I understand exactly what they're saying. They don't have to talk to me like that. They let me know my daughter at a very young age had a comprehensive skill. Because my thing is, I ain't want to yell at her. I ain't never really yell at my daughter. So when other people yelled at her, she ain't understand it. Like, what y'all doing around here? You know, I think that goes for the same thing with people that beat their kids. That's the thing that the white man taught us. You know, you got to beat people to keep them in line when they get out of line. But you can also be a parent and teach them. You can talk to them. Now, some of y'all might just get what y'all sold and giving y'all parents a hard way to go. That's God's way of saying, zap,
zap,
back at you. But at the same time, you being that type of kid, you should also know what it would have taken for you to become a better person and rise above that too, because I'm almost sure most people can identify. I believe most people look at their kids and be like, wow, you was just like me, or I understand where they come from, or different things like that. I clearly get it. I clearly understand it. But my thing is, are you going to dare to be different and try something different? Or are you going to keep going through the same pattern and repeating the same patterns in life and producing the same outcome? It's already given.
I think this is a good talk. This was a good conversation, man, because I think that it was a topic that we had to dive into. I really feel like this was a good topic because it's a lot of us that we really forgot that we still need each other to make sure that our community survives and thrives, man. I like the fact that we did. I like the fact we did that boycott for Target, and I seen how much money and billions of dollars they lost, and I'm like, dang! Imagine if we could have did this for 6 months to a whole year. If we could have did that for a whole year.
Imagine if they actually did the same thing about building black wealth.
Man, what?
If all them people can come together and not put money towards Target, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine if they had real, honest intentions of getting people out of poverty and getting people, but that's how you know they don't. They most people, especially preachers, will preach to you and teach you how to be comfortable in oppression. And they never tell you how to get out of it. That's like the whole thing going back to your man, Mr. Sack, your Pastor Sack. Pastor Sack, if you needed 40,000, you could have dropped the album. You could go on tour. You could have went and did so many other things. I just didn't understand why you are demanding money from the parishioners. And the one thing they will never tell you is this, like I will always keep saying, in the book of Corinthians, Paul said, I became one of them and I worked alongside of them so that y'all will never think that I would take anything from y'all.
They forgot that part. Man.
They will never tell you that. Like, bro, why you tour? Yeah, I'm almost sure you go to church and speaking engagements. Whatever money you felt like you needed for that moment, you could have went and got that. What they call it honorariums.
But what do you need the $40,000 for?
Yeah, he put out a response, but I never got a chance to see it, man. I just had a crazy day.
I mean, $40,000 for what? Jesus is coming. He needs to come and eat. He's coming with the angels. What does he need the $40,000 for?
I don't know, man. That's tough.
Then after we need to have a conversation about the whole tithing thing.
I wanted to have a conversation about this church protocol, period. Because I've been wanting to know, like I said this before, about how long does it actually take for God to come into a service and move? Right? Like what? Like the music, the dancing, all that stuff. Y'all in here teaching kids how to do this stuff because they mimicking y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all glorifying that.
You talking about like the praise dance? You talking about like that praise dance?
I mean, like, what is it for?
I couldn't tell you.
What is it for?
I ain't gonna lie to you. They be moving their feet.
All of it is entertainment. All of it is to gratify and satisfy. Don't get me wrong. Everybody want to use that like, oh, the spirit is shot up in my bones like fire is shot up in my bones and all this other stuff. People want to use that thing. And yes, but Paul also turned around and said we have control over the spirit. We control that. We have dominion over the spirit. Sometimes, yes, it is good. So I forget what times that I was really going through. I'm driving down the street listening to gospel music, and I'd pull over on the side of the road several times. Just start crying, start praising God. Yes, I get that. It does happen. But when you are in church, and most of us know what black church look like, when they say the prayer, and then the organist and all them get to striking them chords, and they making you dance. It's like, come on, bro. They are playing on you. That's their whole thing. They are manipulating your emotional cause and your spirit to make you get up and do that most of the time. We know what it is. They were like, oh, don't y'all start that now. Come on, bro.
You're gonna be banned. You're gonna get banned from going to churches. You keep talking about people like that. They don't want to hear this truth, man.
Hey, bro.
They don't want to hear this truth, man.
Bro, I ain't been in church in years, bro, and that's the reason why. I mean,
they don't want to hear this truth, man.
It's not to say I don't want to go to church. I do want to find a spiritual leader. I keep telling I said it to people all the time. I do want to find a spiritual leader that's going to help me mature and walk into my calling and who I'm supposed to be. I would love to find somebody that's going to help grow me and train me and teach me in that area, right? But at the same time, I'm not going in there to play with people. I can't go in there and I'm just going to do this to make you dance. And I'm going to do this, that, and the other, make you feel good so you can give me more money. That's what they do. They tell y'all the craziest stuff at the weirdest time so that you can just feel better about giving them your money. Like, just watch it. Like, I've been in it too long. I've seen it happen too many times. Like, I'm gonna make you feel really good and get excited and I'm gonna get you up in the spirit, and I'm gonna turn around and tell you, give me $50. Let me the only $50 you eat for the week. And then they're like, okay, I'm going fast. You know, like, hey, bro, I don't know. I ain't doing it.
It's a lot, man.
I ain't doing it. I love you, but I ain't doing it. I pray that y'all be fruitful and multiply, but I ain't doing it. Now, if you taught me how to walk in abundance, and if you taught me how to live in abundance, you taught me about investments, because one version of the man with the talents, it actually used the word investment. If you actually learned and taught people how to do that, you wouldn't have to ever worry about somebody giving you a $50 offering or collecting $40,000. You'd be in a church full of rich people. Yeah. But then it goes back to that saying in The Incredibles, that with everybody super, nobody would be. So people try to keep those social constructs. But any rich person, Jay-Z, any of them people will tell you that being rich is almost like a curse. And that's, like I said, and that's the reason why I love Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I said this before, I feel like that's a gospel album to me. That's why I put them songs up on the flyers, because I feel like they're gospel songs to me. He said, I know millionaires that feel alone. If I'm a millionaire, there's no way in the world I'm going to feel alone. Right? Why? Because the higher you go up and the higher you be up there, nobody's going to be able to relate to you. Mm-hmm. You'll be used to people always asking you for stuff. People trying to take advantage of you. You don't know that people's real intentions on why they're around you. Right? Like, that's insane to me to sit back and say, I want to be the only one up there. There's only going to be a few of us up here. Hey, I want to be around a whole bunch of people that everybody is free and liberated, and we all can go out and do whatever the heck we want to do. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine me, you, Caleb, Latoya, who else on here? Ken. You say Kenny? Yeah. I ain't see your man Steve in a while. He said he our number one contributor. I ain't seen him in a while. Can you imagine? Like, dog, we all gonna pick up and go on vacation. We gonna take our families. All of us gonna pick up and take our families and go on vacation together. And none of us have to worry about when we get back home what bills we got to pay and things that's going on. We can all just go and fellowship and have fun and laugh and joke with our families and do different things like that. Bro, that's amazing feeling. Why would I want to sit back and have these experiences, and then the people that love me, support me, care about me, can't even be there to enjoy it with me? That's insane to me. I don't understand those social constructs. Yeah. I wouldn't want to live like that. Thanks, Caleb. Dope conversation on the pod. Yeah. If anything, the rich people will see this and make sure I don't never get money, because then I'm gonna mess up their system. Don't worry about the church folk. Yeah. It's like, oh, you gonna what Drake say? You trying to free the slaves? Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to free everybody, man, because nobody's supposed to be living like this. Nobody's supposed to be living like this. You think if all of them young boys had what they really needed, that they would walk around and act like that? If they had a real man in their life showing them how to walk like men, if they peoples had money, like, what in the world would they be standing on the corner for? I'm almost sure they would be going and investing their time in whatever sport or whatever talent that they have, whether they can write, draw. They wouldn't be out on the corner. They just don't have the resources to invest in what their passions are. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's your final notice for today? All right, let me pull it up so I know these. My final notice for the day is I encourage everybody to just pray and ask God for the strength to walk out what it is that in your heart to do, right? Rather it's outreach ministry, rather it's cleaning up your neighborhood. You know, I pray that y'all get as much information. Like, sit back and ask people. If you don't know, like, if you don't, like, you know, when we was young, they used to say there's no such thing as a stupid question, right? And I still believe that, right? The only question that's stupid is the ones you don't ask. And somehow, some way or another, we stop asking questions. We stop dreaming, and we let limitations and things like that stop us from achieving our goals. But if you pray, the same thing I tell my daughter, you offer your plans over to God and you put those things in God's hand, just like the testimony I said earlier, you'll be surprised how fast he work it out, you know. If we really start doing a testimonial on here one day, like, and some of y'all heard our testimonies, right? Like, God move in some mysterious ways. There's nothing that I can say that I have done. But I put those plans in God's hand and I just let him do it. I went through some things, yes. Like when I said that, you know, the people houses that I was renting, they told me keep my money. And they told me I had to move, but then I couldn't move anywhere. And then I had to learn how to sit in faith and trust in God, build up my credit, have some discipline, so that when God was letting me know it was time to go, I got up and left and I had my credit and stuff in order. Sometimes he do certain things like that. And you know, but just ask your advisors, ask counsels, ask people, keep asking until you find the right question. Don't let nobody tell you that the things that is stupid, that your ideas and your thoughts and your passions are stupid. Have that conviction and pray for that strength to go after what's inside of you that God put inside of you and created you to do, and don't stop until you get it. That's my final notice.
That's a good one. You do me a favor, can you pull up Isaiah chapter 43, verse 13?
My man. You ain't saying nothing. Isaiah
chapter 43, verse 13.
43 down to 13. Yes, sir. Here we go. So let me jump over here. There you go. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, is it a particular version you want?
Nah. I want you to. Can you copy and paste it? Yeah.
Oh, you want to put it? Oh, I can copy and paste it. I just shared it on the screen. That's all you want is 13?
Yeah. Let's just keep it a day. Yep.
All right. So I shared it on the screen, but let me go ahead and put it right here for you. There we go.
All right. So this is funny because I was on TikTok, right? And when I pull, I would just open up the app, and you know how they be having those biblical stuff when this popped up. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 13, right? And indeed, before the day was, I am he, and there is no one who can deliver out of my hand. I work, and who will reverse it? And when I read that, I said, dang. I said, God, I'm going through so much right now, and I just got to learn to trust in you. You know what I'm saying? So my final notice for today is that, you know, it is God who works those miracles. It is everything. Our life is in his hand. If he said it's going to be, it's going to be. Can nobody change that? Nobody can take anything that God said is going to happen for you. No prosperity, no blessing, no hard work that you're going to go through. Nobody can change that but God, because it is who has ordained it, right? So no matter what it is,
I'm sorry.
What's that?
Please don't believe that you have to run down the aisle, turn around 3 times, jump over the aisle, jump over the benches, cry and fart in order for God to do that neither. Don't let preacher tell you that. Don't let nobody, no prophet or any of those other things tell you that you have to do something in like that in order to receive what God told you that He's already going to give you. I'm sorry.
So it's like what I'm saying, what I'm telling everybody, man, no matter what it is that you're going through, Isaiah chapter 43, verse 13. Meditate on that, read on that, let just take it before God and just trust in God, because we all going through some stuff. Everybody's going through something, but we also have to remember who it is that orchestrating our life. And that's going to be my final notice for today.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Man,
crazy, bro.
Thank you so much for everybody tuning in, man. I know usually last week we couldn't get on there. Last week was just a bad week, man. But we thank God that we're able to come back on this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hey, like we always say, man, we're here to learn from each other. We're here to grow from each other. This is a form of His ministry in its own. You don't have to just run into a church to get the word of God. This is what the church is about. We talked about this on the last podcast. What is the job of a church? What is the church? We are the church. Ministering with each other is the church. Sharing the word of God is the church. Encouraging each other is the church. Speaking wisdom is church. We don't claim to know it all, but we claim to learn with each other. It may be some things we might say wrong. I know Caleb gonna jump right into the comments and say, hey, yeah, It's plenty of times when Caleb will call me and say, man, I love what y'all talked about. I would have added this to it. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I wish you put it in the comment though when we talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, jump in, chime in. This is not my platform. This is not Aaron's platform. This is our platform. This is where we can talk with each other without having to be in the same room. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, y'all jump in and chime in. This is something that we're doing to help grow that community. Remember, we're talking about, taking that village, and it still takes that village. We are the village. This is what the village is for. We want to learn. We want to grow. We want to be wiser when it comes to our walk with God. We want to make sure we're doing things the right way. Nobody claims to know it all, but we claim that we want to learn.
Right.
Hey, look, he said I called him out. I ain't call you out. Let me tell you something.
Hey, you ain't the only one though, Caleb. I'm gonna tell you, you're not the only one, my friend. You're not the only one.
Let me tell you something. I can go 3-4 months without talking to Caleb on the phone. I can call Caleb, and I'm just talking about 5-minute call. We have maybe like a 2 hour. I think the last time we got on the phone, we was on the phone for about 2 hours.
Right.
And that I value, man. I value talking to Caleb because it's like, yo, we talk about God. We can. Hey, how's your little man doing? Good. Y'all working on the second one yet? Because I was telling him you need to have more babies. Build up the family, right? And he be like, yeah. I said, well, you tell him I'm coming in. I'm coming to visit Maryland. He got to share that bunk bed. And we'll just start talking about God, and that conversation go about for like 2 hours, right? And we talking about God, and we building each other up, and we talking about what we got to do and how do we got to move. But this is what we're doing this for. Like I was saying, it's not for everybody. I never came into this situation with this podcast saying we're trying to save everybody. No, we're not.
Right.
The message is not for everybody. The message is for somebody. The message is for myself. It's for Aaron. It's for anybody that feel like this is something that benefits them. If it don't benefit you, do yourself a favor. Scroll on. You don't have to stay on here. I'm not locking no door. Like I started with this podcast, we ain't locking the doors, and we ain't asking you for $1,000 per person. What he said, I see 6 videos. I see 5 people on this podcast, and I seen about 93 views so far. I'm not asking for $1,000 from y'all, because I'd have been rich. We rich right about now. But it's free. Freely it was given, freely you shall give. So we're giving it for free. We're ministering for free. So at the end of the day, man, it's free. It's free, man. We come here to learn and grow each other and just help each other grow in the spirit. That's it.
That's it. I mean, because if I make it, y'all gonna make it.
Man, trust me, man.
Respect the person. I don't mind pushing anybody. Like I said, prayer requests. Somebody wants somebody praying for them. Anything, I do all that stuff. It don't really matter, because my thing is, if God is going to answer your prayers and do it for you, He's going to do it for me.
Yeah.
The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. I'll push everybody in front of me. I don't care. I know the word. I understand it. I don't need the pomp and circumstances. I don't need any of those things, man. I'm comfortable being who I am.
Man, another great conversation, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Tune in next week, man. We got something cooking up for next week, man. Y'all tune in next week, man. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our Facebook page, Final Notice Podcast on Facebook, Final Notice Podcast on YouTube, same thing as Instagram, and also on TikTok. If you want to follow, if you have any questions, if you have any, I think we should do a challenge, man. I think we should do a fasting challenge. I think we need to do a testimony podcast where we talk about people come on or people just put it in the comment. We should do something where we should do like a fasting challenge. Everybody else do any other challenge. We might as well do a fasting challenge and see where God lay our problems before the throne, and just challenge God to hear our prayers and to see that we're reaching out to Him and we need His help. Because everybody's going through something, man. It's not a person that I've met that I've talked to that is not going through something.
Yeah.
Even Elon Musk, they say his business is struggling. He's a billionaire, but something is going wrong. He doesn't have everything going perfectly. So it's like everybody's struggling.
I seen somebody say that's what happens when you forget that that it's the people that run everything and not electricity. I think it was Pastor Brian said that when I see him say that.
Yeah, I agree with some of the stuff. That's your man, yo. That's your homeboy.
He keeps coming up, bro. Like him, because we send each other a lot of these little church clips. So I think the algorithm just be popping up and just seeing certain things. And a lot of stuff, boy.
That guy.
Like your boy Gino. Oh my God.
Gino. Who?
Pastor Jennings.
Oh, your guy, your homeboy.
God, bro.
That's your homeboy.
I was about to post something. See, that's like the flesh side of me. I'm about to post something on Facebook. I'm like, yo, this dude going straight to hell, man.
Oh, come on, man.
He's going straight to hell, bro.
But I like him, though.
You're not supposed to take away from the word, right? And you're not supposed to add anything to the word. So when you use the word, and it's funny because a lot of stuff started popping up, like right after we did that whole thing about leadership and being accountable. And like you just can't get on these platforms and say whatever you want to say out of your mouth, especially if you call yourself a leader. And the stuff that he say out of his mouth is like, bro, you just reading this book, but you don't have no revelation about what you're reading. You're not even studying it. You just telling people what's in there, and you trying to hold people accountable, but you holding them accountable to the wrong thing, which making you ignorant to what you're saying. And it's crazy because you just like, this is literal. Like some of that stuff ain't literal. It's not even the Bible, not even in chronological order. It's crazy for you to sit back there and say these things that you say out your mouth. And it's crazy. They took a book of Revelation, right? A chapter in Revelation. And was talking about how women ain't supposed to preach. But it was talking about the women with a Jezebel spirit and all this other stuff. I want to say it was like Revelation 2:20. And how when he was talking about the different churches, and one of the churches was led by the spirit of Jezebel and this, that, and the other. But now you're calling all women pastors Jezebels because they preach. Like, bro, that's not what that is saying. Like, that's not cool, man. You're not supposed to do stuff like that.
I wonder if I can get him to come on this platform. You think he'll come?
I don't talk to ignorant people, bro. I'm not going back and forth with you. I'm not going back and forth. I don't even want to entertain them for real. Because the one thing I do give them credit for, like I said, is like they always start a certain way. They always end bad. Because when he's saying things, and I watched them, like the first thing that I was like, at first when I first started watching, I was feeling him, like, oh yeah, this dude nice. I like him.
Yeah, he's like straight to the.
He was calling truth to power about the politicians and stuff like that, and how they all of them was beefing them against him. But the more I watched, the more I started realizing, oh, that's what they're talking about. Yes, some of them are trying to make certain things about the word of God comfortable and not fit other people and this, that, and the other. Yeah, I mean, we know the politics behind this stuff like that. I get that part of it. I said, but first of all, how you call people, you like your mother a liar or an idiot. You was calling people out their name, like your grandmother a liar. Like, come on, bro. Where you read this at in the Bible? So you're doing all this hyperbole stuff and you're saying these different things and you're sensationalizing the word and this, that, and the other. And you got these people up here cheering for you for doing it. But the Bible said, take heed unless you fall. How in the world you got the right to sit back here and call these people lineage is the liars and this, that, and the other. Like, come on, bro. That's not what we doing. That's not what we doing. But yeah, I'm my fault because we get to talking. I know you're trying to sign off and get us out of here, man.
Yeah, look what Caleb said.
Knock that hand on the podium. The hand? What are you talking about? Am I right? Yeah, yo, he talking about that.
Yeah, he talking about your man. Caleb be hip.
And that's the part that killed me, because part of it, if you read in the Bible, you're actually right. That is what it says in the Bible, but the way you're using it is wrong. Everything. He be slapping the heck out of his hand, but I never let him slap you. Man with the iron fist, the way he slapped
the iron fist, man. He got the iron fist, man.
He slapped that podium, boy. Jesus, bow. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah, man.
Yeah, Caleb be hip, man. All right, man. I ain't gonna hold you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. If you guys have any questions, you can always message us directly, man. If you guys have any prayer requests, hey, man, y'all keep me in prayer, man. Y'all help me in prayer, man. You know, keep me in prayer, and we'll talk about it when the times are right to talk about it. But y'all keep us in prayer, man, because this is not easy that we're doing here. We trying our best, going against the all the odds, but we keep, man. Yeah, we going. That's why when people say, "I want to," Now I was about to say when people were like, "Well, let me come on the podcast." I said it's not about coming on, y'all. You prepare to come on, because the things that you're going to experience, you think it's just as easy as it is just to come on here and just talk. It's not. It's a lot of work that goes behind that nobody just understand, man.
People don't understand the fight that come along with this. Like, my thing is, like, you want to come on this podcast, this platform, but the intent and the spirit and what we do it is so pure. One, you just ain't gonna get up here and say and do any old thing. So that's number one. But number two, because we're doing it in that vein, you don't understand the things that we are agitating in the spirit and what is coming back after us doing, And those are the reasons why don't just pray for him, pray for me as well, because that I put on my Facebook, I said, Lord, I need you to do it to show my enemies, not just my enemies, but I need you to show the people the God that I serve. That's what I put on there. Because I don't worry about my enemies or my haters and this, that, and the other. I don't worry about people praying against me and looking at me, because y'all can't do nothing. I every night before I pray, I curse them prayers that people pray against me. Every single one of them. Y'all don't have no power. And I'm telling you right now, so you might as well stop doing it. If you pray against me, you pray against my family, and now I'm going to include JoJo in that. In this podcast, y'all can pray against us and speak against us all you want to. I'm cursing it every night before I go to bed. So it's going in void, because the God that I serve is greater than me, than he that's in the world. So I curse it. So it's pointless for y'all to talk against me. It's not going to find where it's supposed to find. I speak against it every night. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we still don't need your prayer, because Satan do have a job to do, and I can't wait for the testimonies that come out of it, because that's why I like your idea about fasting. We can talk about that behind the scenes, but just keep us in your prayer. I appreciate it. I know JoJo going to appreciate it, and the fire and the testimony that comes out of it is even going to be greater, so that we can take this podcast, this platform, and y'all along with us to a different level.
Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Tune in next week. Same time. Hey, what they say? Don't meet me there, beat me there. So
same
back
channel.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Hope you guys got something out of this. And we definitely look forward to speaking to you again next week, man.
Yes, especially for a Friday night. Thank you.
Definitely. We about to change that time, that Friday night, man. Good Lord.
Hey, bro, I went to a comedy club with Terrence tonight. We supposed to go see Ryan Davis.
That's what I'm talking about. See what I'm talking about?
Hey, listen. I told you before we did this podcast, this is work. This is ministry. Yeah. Ain't nothing Ryan Davis gonna say out of his mouth that's gonna make me like renege on this podcast or not want to do it. I told you this is me right here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put Ryan Davis over that. God ain't getting me. Zap ain't getting me.
All right, y'all, man. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in, man. We out.
Take it easy.